welcome to our training today, our circuit training for land sales today. Today is the start of a new circuit breaker. Woohoo! Wrong, So we are glad that we have moved on to phase one, no more circuit breaker. But I still understand that agents are still stuck at home because you still can't do your different agency work. Okay, so welcome. Still take the time to learn as much as you can before we move on to phase two, and I think all the agents can go back, all of you guys can go back to work. Okay, now without further ado, let's do our training today. But before that, as usual, for those of you who have attended training before, okay, just a quick disclaimer, and let me introduce you your account managers. So we have three ladies here, Celeste, Zuki, and Sherry. They are in charge of different agencies. Okay, so depending on which agency you are from, you should be looking for the respective account manager. Now, when do you look for them? Okay, don't call them to say, hey, you want to lim kopi or not? No, Okay, but more for if let's say you have, and not just for signing up or renewing, but if you need help with which tool should you be using, or even if you've come across any technical issues, they would be the best person you should be looking for. Okay, of course, sometimes they are busy. They may be in the midst of a meeting or a training. So if you do need a bit of a quicker access, another number you can call is our office hotline, which you can see on the top left-hand corner of the screen, 62328688. Okay, so this is the alternative number you can reach us at. Of course, this is only during office hours 9 to 5 lah. Okay, thereafter, please still look for your respective account managers. Okay, so just for the start of today's training, I'd just like to share that we have a great Singapore sale going on. I understand that there's no GSS this year, but online we still can provide something for you. So this is for all the agents, even for those of you who are not attending training, which obviously all of you are. Okay, so if you do have friends who are not here with us today, you can also share this promotion with them. Okay, so it is up to 35%, different products, slightly different percentage. For Pro Tools, it is at 15%, okay, and then only applicable for new signups as well as renewals expiring in the next 3 months. As for Prop Points, depending on whether you are an existing Pro Tools subscriber or not, the price is slightly different. It's either 328 for existing Pro Tools or 399 if you only want to purchase Prop Points. Okay, original is up to 498, and for the for those of you who would prefer to buy a bit more to enjoy the bonus points, it will be at 656 or 797. So 656 for those of you with Pro Tools, and 797 for those of you who just want to go for Prop Points. Okay, original price is up to 996. All right. Now, before we get started on today's training, which is on land sales, I understand that some of you guys are actually stuck at home. Actually, all of you lah. So for those of you doing new launches, which I feel this is very relevant for those of you attending land sales, high chances are you are a new launch agent, because when we are looking at land sales, generally we are looking at the developer selling price of the new launches or upcoming new launches. Okay, so since we are all at home right now, do make full use of the resources available to you. So for EdgeProp Plus, basically we have a library of virtual tours, about 20 plus of them, okay, for the current show flats in Singapore. So if you have clients who might be keen to view the show flat during this period, the only way is to do it virtually. So do check out the library to see if we have the show flat that you are trying to market for. Okay, the second QR code, so that's for the first QR code, and the second one is more of a guided show flat virtual tour. So what the difference is that your the developer actually engaged their representative or the project IC to go through the entire show flat with you. Okay, so this is from maybe stepping into the show flat to the model, the site plan, and then the show unit followed by the floor plan. So if you like to pick up a tip or two on how your project ICs do it, okay, do check this out. I think this is really useful because a lot of us we are so used to doing viewing in a face-to-face situation. We may not be so smooth when it comes to doing viewing online. So you can actually turn on the virtual tour, do a Zoom with your clients. That's actually possible. And if you want to know how should you be explaining this particular property in the best way, do check out the second QR code, which is the guided show flat virtual tours. I think we have about 9 to 10 of them. Okay. Now the next thing is this product that we call EdgeProp Cast. So one is Plus, which is virtual tours. Cast is more on videos. So think of it like your Netflix for property. Okay. So for those of you who already have some videos on hand, of course, your own taken videos are not the videos that is given by the developer. Your own videos, you might want to register with us and have your videos hosted on EdgeProp Cast. At the moment, this is entirely free, and you also would be given the leads if, let's say, they inquire, okay, through your video. Of course, we would do some form of screening to ensure that the videos are of good quality, okay, and relevance. Okay, so if you need a bit more details, you can contact us using the mobile number on the bottom right, which is 94529197. Okay. Now let's move on to our official training for land sales today. So I will be toggling to the actual website right now. Let me just move on to the correct screen. Okay, it should be this one. Yeah. Okay. So this is our main website. So if you're looking at Cast, it is actually over here. It is a new button on our button bar on the top. Okay. Now, the one that you should be looking at for today's training is the button called Tools. And when you mouse over, you will see the drop down of all the different tools that we have in EdgeProp. Most of them are accessible as long as you have a Pro Tool subscription. Now, the only tool that requires a Prop Points subscription is actually Featured Enquiries, and FSBO that is basically more for lead generation. By exchanging points, you will get leads from owners as well as buyer tenants. Now, today's training, the one that we're going to touch on today is on land sales. So this one, which is under the header called Research and Analytical Tools. Okay, Research and Analytics Tools. Now click on land sales. Okay, now we are here right now in land sales. So what does land sales cover? Okay, there's two main categories of land sales that we cover. Firstly, government land sales, GLS. And secondly, we also cover en bloc, which of course in the last year or so, there isn't that many en blocs going on at the moment. Okay, so I would say mostly GLS in this last 1 year or so. And occasionally, if we have sufficient information available, we may also put private treaties inside, but subjected to sufficient information. So where do we get our information from? If you look in the center, okay, under land attributes, this is basically information taken from all the press releases. So places like your Straits Times, Business Times, and all that. So this is where we get information and put it into our system. Okay. Just a quick one. So on the top, you will see this search bar called search title. You are able to search for different land sales because we have a library of as early as 2006. Of course, different property type lah. So if let's say you're looking at very old ones, it is government land sales from 2006. We added en bloc sometime in 2018 when it was there was an en bloc hype, okay? And so moving forward, as long as it is GLS or en bloc, we will have it from now onwards lah, okay? From 2018 onwards, we will have both. Now, so if you're searching the title, you can or you should be keying in the address. So, for example, you should be keying in Fernvale Lane if you want to look for this particular GLS along this street, or you can search by the project name. Okay, so usually if it is an en bloc, you would be putting the old project name, right? Because maybe when the land is sold, usually the new project name is not ready yet. So maybe earlier on it is what is it? Mayfair Garden. Thereafter it became something else. So you can put in the old name, and of course if we have information on the new name already, we will also put it inside. So over here you can see we have the more recent GLS. So obviously these would not have names yet. If it is an en bloc, for example this one, we will indicate what is the name, okay? So most of these will not have names until until the name is confirmed per se. So look for the street name or the old or new project name. Okay, next thing I'd like to touch on is on the land status. So over here you can see that this land is officially sold. Of course, there are actually different land status. So the earliest land status is this one called on confirmed list. So if URA release every half of the year, so first half 2020, second half 2020, they will have a list of confirmed land. Okay, once it is so-called for sale, okay, once it is open for tender, we will indicate as on confirmed list, okay? And then after that, when it is closed, we will indicate close, okay? So close meaning that the deadline for the bidding has ended, okay? And then we also have sold. So do take note. So we have on confirmed list, closing soon, close, and then we have sold. Now, take note of the difference between close and sold. Usually, this is about a week plus minus away. And the difference is that when a property or when a land sales is closed, we will find out who has bidded the highest, right? So, example, maybe in this case, for example, the first one, Fraser's is the highest bidder. Okay. However, after 1 week, when it is indicated as closed, sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes, the top bidder may not be the one who actually won the piece of land. Because when it comes to URA, they don't just consider how much you offer for the land, but also how much in line your proposal for this plot of land is in line with their own planning, okay? Because URA is in charge of the planning, and they want to make sure that it is in line with what they intend to do there and how they want to use the land. Okay, so occasionally, or should I say quite rarely, between close and sold, you might end up with a different developer. Okay, so do take note, it is only a confirmed chop close deal when you see the word sold. That means confirmed Fraser's is the developer for Fernvale Lane. Okay, between close and sold, there may be changes, but rarely lah. Okay. Now, next thing is, so I've covered the naming, the status, okay, the land attributes, which is from the press release. Do take note, so initially we will have from site use all the way to GFA, okay, and then of course once the land has closed for bidding, you will have the info on the highest bid in terms of quantum million as well as per square foot, okay. And then thereafter, you also have the number of bits. If it is en bloc, usually there won't be the number of bits. Okay. Now, so now over here, do take note, this number here, the highest bid in million, will be the cost of your land on the right hand side here. Okay, so on the right hand side, under estimated break even, we basically pull over the cost of the land based on the highest bid onto the right hand side here. So you have 286.5 as the highest bid, as well as, which is also your land cost. Okay, do take note, this is in the case for GLS, government land sales. However, for en bloc cases, do take note that the highest bid here, we will also take into account additional costs that may be incurred by the developer. Why is that so? If you en bloc the land, there is a possibility that the developer will have to pay things like lease upgrading. Example, they en bloc a property that we've left over 50 years. So they need to top up back to 99 years. So they need to pay an amount to top up another 49 years. Okay, so that is called lease top up. Another possibility is this cost called development charge. This is usually the case if the developer wants to increase the plot ratio. Okay, so maybe when they bought over this land, this building is 10 stories only. But based on the plot ratio, the maximum plot ratio, they can build 20 stories. So if they want to build 20 stories, they will need to pay development charge. So all these additional costs incurred by the developer, costs for the land, would be added into the highest bid or land cost accordingly, as long as it is stated in the press release itself. Okay. Okay, now, so there are other costs incurred by the developer. So over here, you can see on the right hand side, you can see all the different costs that is incurred by the developer. So we move over the land. There's also construction costs, financing. So usually developers don't empty their banks just to build a piece of, just to do a project. They would still borrow from the bank, okay, gearing. And then, of course, they also need to hire professionals, legal, taxes. They have to pay for all these, as well as marketing costs, which even includes building the show flat, includes agent fees, okay? And then, so over here, we basically work out the estimated total cost, okay? Which in this case is about 490.2 million. And we also help to work out the estimated break even per square foot per plot ratio. Quite a mouthful over here. But what does this mean? This basically means the minimum per square foot that the developer must sell in order not to make a loss. So that means to say I will need to add a certain percentage on top of this to work out the developer selling price, because developer, not quite likely they will go through all the effort to not make any money, right? So they still need to make profit, and usually we are looking at about 10 to 20% on top of this estimated break even per square foot per plot ratio. Of course, do take note in terms of the per square foot, we are looking at an average size of about a 3-bedroom, about 1,000 square feet plus minus. So that means to say, if you are quoting your client the developer selling price for a small unit, a 1-bedroom, you need to increase the per square foot, right? Same thing, if you are quoting them for a 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, you probably would have to quote a lower developer selling price, because the per square foot would likely be lower because of the bigger size. Okay, so this would usually, if you add 10 to 20% on top of this, we are looking at 1,000 square feet, 1,001 square feet kind of unit, which is usually a 3-bedroom. Okay. Now, do take note, however, so where did we get this 10 to 20%? We actually look looked at how the land sales trend in the last 1 year, 2 years, and usually we see that it's always about 10 to 20%. Based on last 1 year, okay, most of it in fact are falling towards the 15 to 20%. If you look earlier, it can actually be higher. It really depends on the when that particular land was sold, okay, and the market conditions at that point in time. So later I'll share a little bit of insight on whether land costs or land sales costs might actually increase or fall moving forward due to the COVID situation, okay, due to the current crisis that we are in. Do you think that land prices would increase or fall? Or should I say the bid that is placed by the developers, would it be higher or lower? Okay, so I'll touch a little bit on that, just like a add-on for you guys. Okay, now another thing I would like to highlight is when you're looking over here, you can actually also click on the address or the project name. If you click on it, it will actually show you a slightly more zoom out kind of a map, as well as a bit more information. So over here, I can also see things like the projected number of units. Okay, this is not shown in the earlier screen. Okay, so a bit more details if you click on the project name or the street name. Okay, so I'm just going to go back now. So over here, all these is based on chronological, based on the address stated here. So you can scroll all the way and you can click on next 10 records. So you can go page by page, or you can search by the search bar on the top. Okay, now let me just move on to my slide here to show you how else you can make use of land sales. Okay, let me just go to the slides. Okay, so like I mentioned, these are the things that we mentioned earlier. There's mainly two types of land sales. The break-even is about 10 to 20% at the moment. Okay, you have the different status. So this is the close status, and then there's the break-even price, which you can use to work out the developer selling price. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is interesting though. You can also use land sales to show that cost of land is increasing. Okay, so I actually took an example based on two ECs that were launched 2 years apart. Okay, one of it is River Cove Residences. I think it is almost sold out, or maybe sold out already. Okay, so the land was sold on the 5th of September 2016. Okay, and you can see that the break even is 671 per square foot. Okay, both of them are in the same area, both in Sengkang. In fact, the first one is slightly nearer. I mean, in terms of view wise, it has a river view. Okay, the other one is the current EC that is selling now, which is Ola. Okay, so also along Anchorvale, but slightly deeper inside. And you can see that the break even has increased by 45% in 2 years. Okay, so you would notice actually, even though we don't have the function to allow you to compare, but if you do know which land to compare with, of course try to be as apple to apple as possible. Don't compare EC with private, or don't compare different location. Okay, if one of it is near MRT, make sure you compare another one that is also near MRT or within the same vicinity. Okay, and you will notice, regardless where you are comparing, based on all the recent transactions, based on all the recent land sales, okay, you would notice that the prices have generally all gone up. Okay, not just for EC. Even if you're looking in different parts of Singapore, the east side, the west side, central, prices are all increasing over time. Okay, so this is something you can do when you want to convince your client that, look, it is not likely that prices are going to fall because the cost of land is increasing. In fact, construction is going to increase as well. So let me touch a little bit on that later. I'll share a little bit more on that. Now this is another example of comparing different land sales. Okay, and this is my example of the Tampines area. So we have Tapestry and we have Treasures at Tampines. Okay, so Tapestry is a GLS. Treasures at Tampines was an en bloc of Tampines Court. Okay, in terms of the sold date, okay, one was in May and the other was in August. Okay, so both of them are 99 years. This one very interesting. Tampines Court is along Tampines Avenue 10, and this is a very interesting location because along the whole street you have all the different land sales as early as which one is it? Suddenly cannot remember, but I know there's Alps, there's Santorini, and all the different projects that come one after another, and you see that the prices keep going up, right? Okay, so over here, Tapestry, when it was launched, I remember that the selling price is about 1,003 per square foot. Okay, about the launch pricing. And that, if you look at the break even at about 1,000, is about 30% above, 30-40% above the break even. Why was that the case? At that point in time, what I understand is there wasn't much competition around. Okay, at that point in time, there wasn't much new land sales available in the market. Okay, so the supply is limited, and developer is in a way quite daring, quite gung-ho. They decided that I want to price it higher. So in a way, based on all the numbers here, we are assuming that they would probably make a bit more profit. Okay, about 30% maybe. Okay, however, that happened before the last cooling measure. Okay, there was a cooling measure that came in somewhere in between and after they launched it, and that actually brought down the market quite a bit because things like your LTV, your loan to value, I don't know if stamp duty was affected or not, but basically that actually changed how the prices of the property turn out after that. And you notice that Tampines Court, which was sold about 3 months later, okay, 3-4 months later, yes, the break even is higher, okay, especially because it is an en bloc. However, in terms of the selling price, okay, it was a lot more attractive. It was starting at about 1,002 plus, and then most of the units were 1,003, about 1,003. At that time, Tapestry already went up to about 1,004 plus, whatever remaining units that they have. Okay, so how do you make use of such a comparison to sell your projects? Okay, so assuming Tampines Court haven't launched yet, so we do not know the selling price for Tampines Court. So looking at it, you only have the break even, and it seems that Tampines Court is likely to price higher, right? Because the cost of land is higher. So at that point in time, if I am selling Tapestry, I can say, look, you might want to buy Tapestry now because it is not quite likely that Tampines Court would cost lower, right? In terms of break even, is already 100 per square foot more. So chances are the prices would also be higher by about 100 square feet, 100 per square feet. Okay. Thereafter, surprise, surprise, Tampines Court was launched at 1,002. Okay. So again, you can change your storyline a bit lah. Okay. In this case, seems like a developer is willing to make lesser profit. They want to sell it first. Okay. They want to hit that certain percentage first. And you can say that, look, Tapestry break even lower and selling at higher price. Why don't you buy Tampines Court? Developer is earning very minimal only. Okay, it's a better buy. So you can switch your story according to when it is launched, before a land is launched, and then after it is launched, what is the situation thereafter. Okay, So Tampines Court in this case, or Treasures at Tampines in this case, it was launched after the cooling measure. Developer was not so daring in terms of wanting a high profit margin. So they priced it lower, more attractive, and that also helped to boost the sales of Treasures at Tampines. Okay. Now this is a new piece of news that we have last Tuesday, and I thought I wanted to share it with you guys as well. Okay, new home sales likely to remain unchanged. So if you have clients who are saying that, oh, I think new home sales is likely going to plunge, developer going to fire sale, that kind of thing, you can show them this article and say, actually, construction cost is going up. Okay, so if I highlighted some parts of the report and I typed it out larger for you all to read. Okay, so it is predicted that the construction costs for private condo may increase 7 to 10%, and this is conservative. And in terms of prices, this translates to 2 to 3% selling price. Okay, so by right, selling price is supposed to go up instead. However, because developers know that tough times are ahead, okay, buyers are not quite willing to pay so much also, right? So they are more likely to absorb this cost. Okay, so this is something you might want to show your buyers. Okay, and if you look back to what we have earlier, okay, so take note that construction cost is likely to go up. We probably make some changes to our algorithm behind. So basically everything on the right hand side under estimated break even, we have an algorithm calculation behind that takes into account what kind of site use, what kind of tenure, or what kind of situation before we work out all the different costs. Now with the current situation, the COVID and the economy downturn in a way, we foresee that construction costs would increase, okay, even based on the article as well. So we might actually increase this portion a little bit. However, in terms of break even, okay, even though it increased higher, but overall selling price may be the same. That means to say, instead of 10 to 20%, maybe you need to look at slightly lower now. Okay, of course, we haven't changed the algorithm yet, but moving forward, as we release to phase 2, phase 1, phase 2 and all that, we'll make our changes accordingly. And maybe moving forward, the kind of profit that the developer may earn, maybe it'll go down to 10 to 15% instead of 15 to 20. Okay, so it may be the lower end of the per square foot. Okay, another thing I would like to highlight is the land sales, the government land sales. So this is also a recent land sales that we have on the 30th of April. Okay, so HDB actually launched this exact condo site in Yishun, and very interestingly, the tender period increased to 6 months. So usually for GLS, we are looking at about 6 to 8 weeks, which is up to 2 months lah. Okay, so from 2 months, they increase the tender period to 6 months, 3 times the difference. And why this is so? So if you read over here, it says additional time for developers to make their assessment, okay, in view of the COVID situation. Now below, according to Nicholas Mark, he's saying that authorities are probably hoping that the tender closes near end of October. Hopefully COVID-19 would already be contained or market sentiments would have improved. So this is the first move that the developer made to ensure that the market is stable. Imagine they still stick to 2 weeks, and then happen because the developer is not sure of the situation. They don't dare to offer too high. If the bid ends up very low, it would actually affect all the new launches, or should I say even the entire property market. Okay, because the basis of all these property prices is really it all starts from the cost of the land, right? So over here, this is what the government has done. for first half 2020. So even before COVID came into the picture in December 2019, okay, there is the government already decided to reduce the number of land parcels. So if you look at first half 2019 and second half 2019, okay, every time there is a confirmed list, there will be 5 plots of land. However, for first half 2020, it has been reduced to 3 plots of land. When you reduce the supply, prices by right go up, right? But because reduce supply, reduce demand, hopefully prices stable. Okay. And another thing that was interesting is that the first land tender, the one that I showed you earlier, actually happened only in April, which is the second quarter in the first half. Okay. So usually maybe January, February, March, there would already be land for sale. However, this time round it was in a way pushed until end April. Okay. And just recently, last week on the 28th of May, they finally released the second plot of land, which is at Tanah Merah Kecil. Okay. And the tender close date is also 29 October. So you can see for Yishun Avenue 9, the in-between gap is 6 months, right? And for Tanah Merah, the gap is 5 months. So hopefully for the next one, Jalan Ana Bukit, we are looking at 4 months, assuming everything is the same lah. Okay. So my guess is maybe that is when the developer thinks is when the COVID is going to get better or the economy is going to get better. But all in all, the whole idea is to try and stabilize the market. Okay, so what they can do is to prevent prices from falling. They ensure that supply is reduced. Okay, even with lower demand, the prices will not fall or will not fall that much. Okay, so far all these 3 plots, you also notice that in terms of the land use, it is all slightly different. Okay, so it is to cater to the different usage. Okay, now, so with that, I will move on to Q&A. I see some questions already, and then after that, we can move to the quiz. Okay, so I will answer some questions now, but for those of you who do not have questions for me, okay, what is this? Okay, for those of you who do not have questions for me, please, let me see this first, what is going on? No good. Yeah. So those of you who don't have questions, please move on to the quiz. Go to menti.com. Okay, let me just clean up the chart and then we can get started on the quiz. Okay. Okay, so I'll need all of you who, for those of you without questions, please go to menti.com and use the code 491020. So on your own screen, please go to this website and use this code here, okay? And then let me just answer some questions. Let me see. Okay, right from the start, Evan, you were asking which tool from EdgeProp is similar to square foot. In fact, a large percentage, 80-90% of our tools from square foot have been ported over to EdgeProp already. And there are also some functions that can only be found in EdgeProp. Things like your tower view, floor plans, okay? And I think some parts of market trend or your mark to value, all these can only be found in EdgeProp. Okay, so I think that answers a little bit. Okay, Sherry answered that already. Benjamin, hello, older projects won't be available, right? Okay, for GLS, we are able to pull info maybe around N2006, but may not be everything, okay? So also do take note for some of the land sales, right? You might come across if it is a private treaty, okay? Or for example, Marina One, okay? You have Singapore and Malaysia having an agreement to swap the land. Okay, those kind we don't have info. Or maybe if you are looking at the Wing Tai project in Kovan, okay, because they are using their Wing Tai headquarters as the land, okay, so there's no land sales in that case. In that case, it's more like Akong land, then we won't have also, okay. What other questions? Connie, what is PPI per plot ratio? Yes, okay. What is the function to compare? Yeah, there's no function to compare. Okay, can you, YKE, hi, can you give an idea on how the construction costs for various projects are worked out? How does the construction cost vary from different projects? I won't be able to give you an idea because there's a certain algorithm or calculation behind. It is not very clear cut lah. So I will say it takes into account the location, it takes into account the type of property, the size, all these matters when we work out the calculation. Okay. Bro, what do you mean by charting tool? Are you referring to market trends? Market trends should be more updated or should have more function in EdgeProp rather than square foot. Okay. Travis, will you be sending us the slide? You can get it from your account manager. We'll send you the slides. Okay. Ken Pang, how come 5 break-even cost for Casa Almera? Ken, is that a new launch? Let us know, okay? Or let your account manager know if this project is recent or something. Let us know. We'll try and add it in if it's not available. Okay. Irene, don't search by. Okay, you need to go to menti.com and then there will be what is it called? There will be a bar for you to key in the code. Okay. So we have about 30 over people, 40 people. Okay. Let me get started, all right? Yeah. Okay, so 5 questions, fastest fingers first would also give you more points. Winners will be entitled to a reusable cutlery set, top 5 winners, okay? So which is the type of land that we cover most? Mainly, mainly. Keyword is mainly. Okay, the answer is A and B. Private treaty only if we have enough info, because sometimes the press release will not have much info because it's between 2 private parties and then we won't have the info. Okay, so mainly A and B. Let's move on to the second question. You need to, Irene, you need to key in. There is a bar for you to key in, right? Yeah, let me see if I can help you out here. Okay. Okay, so my winner is Beatrice, fastest and correct, and then followed by V, Lee, Gary, and Ken Pang. Well done. Irene, just to help you out here, you need to type what is the number? 491020. You need to type it in, okay? Type it in. Then click submit. But I don't know whether you can still come in or not. Okay, next question. Okay, following land sales can be found in land status. Which one is not inside the list? if you remember what I mentioned. Okay, so this one was not in the slides. Can you remember which is the one that is not in our land status? Oh, okay, that's good. Most of you got it right. So we have the rest of the 4, which is once it is confirmed, we'll put it as on confirm list. And then of course when it's closing soon, close and sold. Remember to know the difference between close and sold. But we don't have the status which is called open for tender. Okay. So let's see who is leading right now. Some changes in my leaderboard, seems like it. We have Ken Pang, you have moved all the way to the top now, followed by Wong, Lee, Jun Xiong, and Beatrice, still within the top 5. Okay, next question, land cost for en bloc. Does it or does it not include lease top-up and development charge? Okay, so all the miscellaneous charges, do we add it into the cost of land? The answer is false. So if you read the question properly, it says does not include. The answer is it includes. So if let's say it is an en bloc piece of land and developer needs to pay for development charge, they need to pay for lease top-up, as long as we see it in the press release, as long as it is reported, we will add it in. Okay, so the answer is false. Okay. Some changes to my list again. Okay, so we have Wong now. Okay, Wong on the top. King Lim, Ken Pang went to number 3. Then we have Chen and Adeline. Okay. Evan, yes, you with this same link you can replay again the same training. Okay. So keep the link if you want to revisit this training again. The estimated break-even cost is developer selling price, profit, minimum price that developer must sell, or maximum price that developer can sell. Wow, most of you got it right. Well done. Okay, so break-even, minimum they must sell. If not, they will make a loss. Okay. So usually you still need to add about 10 to 20% on top of the break-even cost to work out the developer selling price. Okay, so we have Wong still on the top, followed by Ken Pang, Chen, Bell, and Adeline. What is the suggested profit to be added to the break-even? Wow, did I just release the answer earlier? So what is the amount I need to add to break-even? Yeah, okay, so most of you got it right, 10 to 20%. So far in the last 1 year, most of the land sales we are looking at about 15 to 20. So moving forward, of course, if there were any changes to how the construction cost is, maybe the profit would be more diluted, 5 to 10%, okay, or 10 to 15%, the slightly lower of the range. Okay, let's see who is leading. We have Wong, followed by Ken Pang, followed by Chen first. Ken Pang, Bell, and Adeline. So the 5 of you, Wong, Chen, Ken Pang, Bell, and Adeline, please take a screenshot of your own screen showing your name or your nickname, your icon and the number of points. Okay, take a screenshot of that and send it to us. Okay, there's a number you can send it to. I think my account managers will put it inside the live chat soon. Okay, so send it to us so that we can arrange to mail you the reusable cutlery set worth $12.90. Okay, so well done and congratulations to all of you who won something. I hope you all had a bit of fun here. And let's move back to just a quick one on the promotion that we have right now. Of course, if you have any more questions, you can type it in the live chat. I'll just wait a little bit more, or you can reach out to your account manager. Okay, so for those of you who want the slides, please get it from your account manager. I will send them the updated slides shortly, and then you can get it from them soon. Okay, so this is the promotion that we are looking at for the month of June, whole of June. Okay, for the month of June, this is the prices that we are looking at. Okay, so with that, thank you everyone. I hope you pick up a thing or two today, and remember to like and subscribe to our channel, like our video, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we have another session. Let me think, what is it? Oh, it is on shortlist and compare. Okay, so if you want to know how to identify properties within a certain district, okay, based on their performance, so we'll actually look into the different key performance indicators like the pricing, the sales and rental volume, the rental as well, rental yield, capital gain. Okay, how are all these properties performing, and how to generate comparison reports. Okay, do join us tomorrow. Same thing, remember to register to obtain the training access link. Okay, and I'll see you tomorrow same time, 2:30 to about 3:15, 3:30. Okay, thank you everyone, and have a good evening, rest of the day. Okay, bye bye.